I cannot leave my abusive relationship is sadly the fate and pronouncement by many. When we hear people talk about abusive relationships, most people think of only physical abuse, but there are other types of abuse that people can inflict on each other. My name is Amaka Samuel Okon, and this is DebsamInfo. The death toll of women in abusive marriages have been on the increase compared to men. However, both men and women are victims of abusive relationships. So, what is abuse? Abuse is cruelty, violent treatment, or threats of action that influence a person. While domestic violence is violence or abuse that occurs in a domestic setting, such as in a marriage or a cohabitation, domestic violence is often used as a synonym for intimate partner violence. But there are other types of abuse, which can be psychological, physical, sexual, emotional, financial, verbal, domestic, drug, and modern slavery. Most times, abusive relationships don't always start with physical violence. No, but it starts with more subtle signs, specifically those geared towards emotions, which can be as simple as ignoring someone or belittling one's feelings. Within the emotional forms of abuse in a relationship, you can also find manipulation, blaming, passive aggression, and shaming. You also have controlling behavior as well as criticizing and isolation. This list is not exhaustive because any verbal or behavioral action that makes you feel shame, guilt, or fear is emotional abuse. Domestic violence has gotten some attention in the media over the past few months because some horrible stories emerged, causing us as a society to take a step back and shed some light on this important topic. The few reasons why we should talk about abuse is because, number one, it exists inside the walls of our place of worship. The stigma that comes from divorce and separation within our place of worship keeps people in unhealthy and dangerous relationships. Number two, we will talk because it's a problem that grows in silence, allowing the toxic cycle to continue. Instead, we should encourage men and women who are battling with such relationships to come forward and seek healing, hope, and restoration. Number three, because healing is needed on both sides of the equation. But one thing we need to remember is that anyone who is trapped in a sinful cycle of abusive interactions towards one another is also in need of healing and hope. As we begin having this conversation, let us be sure to go into it without judgment, but rather to make room for healing on both sides of the relationship. Please listen to some reasons some women gave for staying in the abusive relationship. Let's read. The first person said, "I'm sticking to my marital vow. I love my husband very much and I know that he loves me too. I made a vow on the altar of God to remain with him, for better or worse. He needs my love and prayers, so I cannot leave him now." The second one is, "No one is perfect out there. My dear, you do not know how my husband was when we started dating. He was more abusive and would use iron rods, cutlass, pistol for pounding food, and anything that gets to his hand on me. But he's changing, as the use of weapons have stopped. He only uses his hands whenever I upset him or when he is angry. There is no perfect man or woman out there, and these trying times are just temporary. He is improving and I know I can change him gradually." The third woman said, "I'm staying for my kids. I am still in this marriage just for the sake of my children. Where will I take 4 children to? What if he starts abusing the children? Please, I need to protect my children." The fourth is, "The church and society will laugh at me." She said, "How will I explain to my pastor and the entire church that I left my marriage? Do you people want to laugh at me and mock my children?" The fifth is, "I do not have a dime to my name. I know I might end up dead if I remain in this violent relationship. But you seem to have forgotten that I do not have any money to call my own. My whole life has been around my husband and his finances. I cannot afford to rent a place or take care of these children by myself. He stopped me from working or doing any business when we got married. If I knew he would ever be bloodthirsty, I wouldn't have stopped working or even married him. Who can take care of these children than their father? Who will fund my lifestyle? How will I feed? Who will pay their school fees?" Number 6, for fear of retribution. "I understand and appreciate your concern, but I am afraid of his next step when he realizes that I'm gone. What if I'm caught trying to run? Ade is dangerous and can be very deadly once he loses his control. Number 7, for decency and low self-esteem. At times, I believe that I deserve the abuse meted on me because sometimes I'm to blame for what gets him upset and triggers his anger. We're not judging, remember that. Just listen. So we have the 8th person saying, if I leave, where will I go to? Where will I start from? I cannot make enough money for myself and the children, so I feel it is better to remain in here than starve in the streets. Number 9 said, I'm here for blood oath and covenants. I cannot leave because of the blood oath we did many years ago, and I don't want to die. The 10th one is, I'm enduring for unseen selfish reasons, if you will call it so. So you mean after I have suffered with him all these years, you want me to leave now that something great is about coming his way? Haba. That's it. 10 people saying 10 different things. Some likely cause of abuse in relationship can be due to alcoholism, mental problem, poverty, unemployment, partner's intimidation. Some people are intimidated about their partners, either the person's success or educational level. We also have young parents, relationship retention behavior. The thought process that violence is the only way to retain your partner is really sad. Or it can be due to historical factor or cultural factor. Don't forget suspicion of infidelity, hiding of sensitive information, or telling lies. A lot of abusers use verbal, emotional, and physical threats to prevent the woman from leaving. They traumatize the family and use, fear as a weapon to keep them from defying their will. This fear is justified. Most extreme cases of physical abuse happen when the illusion of control is lost and the abuser feels the need to punish their partner for misbehavior. Abusive relationships are about control. Most of the times, the man wants to, control their woman and their entire lives. They break down their individuality and mold the woman into a submissive slave. They do this for various reasons, but mostly to stroke their inflated ego and feed in their delusions that women are their property. In conclusion, most of us are guilty of judging or calling such people names whenever they speak up. It's easy to judge while standing on the fence. We must come together as a people with genuine love in our heart to fight all forms of abuse. And the best time to act is now. Say no to abuse. Say no to domestic violence. See something, say something. See something, do something. Thanks for watching.